All right, guys, before we jump into the interview, though, you know what we need to do. It is This Week in Freight powered by DAT. We do this 3 times a week, you guys. We do dry van, flatbed, reefer. It does mix up throughout the week out there, but most importantly, this is 100% viewer submitted to you guys as I want to help you guys read freight markets, okay? I've partnered with DAT on this. They're my data partner out here on the podcast. And the whole thing is to help you guys understand how cyclical markets work. Peak seasons, down seasons, everything else in between. We're here to show you guys a lot of those things. Then I personally go through my strategy on how I quote customers out there and some of the details that I pay attention to. So this one is refrigerated today. And this is my backyard here, Phoenix, Arizona, going to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Now, if you've been following this segment for since we've been doing it, the first thing I pay attention to, you guys, is miles, okay? Why is that? Because day of the week that this ships out matters, especially with this one being 1,000 miles. It's an okay weekend run, but if this has to be Thursday to Monday for whatever reason, whether it's a receiver requirement, shippers closed on Friday, for people out there who actually move freight, it's not always a perfect world scenario. That's going to be a factor in what you're going to have to quote on this lane, depending on the day of the week that it moves. Now, Monday through Wednesday, it's going to be great. There's miles associated with it. Friday to Monday is not going to be the worst for it. But, if it starts creeping Thursday to Monday, that's when you're going to start seeing an increase in price out there. But this one in particular, this is spiked obviously a lot right now. But again, you can start seeing that cataclysmic rise right around when everything started happening with the rise in fuel. And it has since hovered around that $4,200 to $4,400 mark. Now, why am I bringing that up? That is the stabilization number that I pay attention to personally. Is this going to be the end-all be-all for every shipper in every lane? Absolutely not. But I found that when lanes specifically stay within a $200 variance of each other over about a 90-day period, that to me is a stabilization marker. And then I'm going to feel a lot more confident bidding the same rates out there to my customers, because not everybody moves RFP contracted pricing out there for the year. A lot of us are truck in hand, and then a lot of us are situational freight, right? It might be inconsistent, but you need to understand that it's not as chaotic as some people might want you to believe out there. Because, for somebody out there who actually moves freight and who has moved freight through multiple cycles, there's going to be peaks and valleys, but eventually you're going to find that stability, and you want to keep those rates that are the same, right? Because customers and carriers, in my opinion, they want the same thing: consistency, consistent prices, consistent freight. That's really what it boils down to from my seat. And I look at this lane in particular, there's a lot of freight that is moving outbound Phoenix out there. And again, if you look at the market that it's going into, Oklahoma, they move a lot of beef out of there. So again, you got to look at the market that the freight's going into as well. What is the probability of a high paying load coming out of that market? And if this would be going into a dead zone, you guys, that's going to affect your pricing going into that market, right? So that's another little key component that I pay attention to. Miles is first. Second is the destination. Not all destination is bad. I'm a firm believer that there's a truck for every lane in America, but it's going to depend on what it's going to pay. And then what does that driver have to do to get out of said market? But going into an area like Oklahoma, there is freight coming out of there specifically for reefer. So I think you're going to be all right from a capacity standpoint. But again, it's about that volatility right now, and it is about managing expectations for your customers. Your ability to source capacity, in my opinion, is the only real value that you're going to add in today's environment. So again, if your customer wants to ship this on a Monday, but your regular is going to be there on a Tuesday, present any and all options out there. Because I think that right now there is that stabilization marker, but I think the 4th of July, you're going to naturally see a spike in that, because the 4th lands on a Saturday this year. So people are going to be closed on either Friday the 3rd or Monday the 6th in observance of the 4th of July. So knowing that stuff, people might have to hold it a little bit longer. So you're going to probably see some rates increase around that time. I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to go up exponentially, because I actually move freight, and some of my drivers don't upcharge at all for the holidays. They just want to get freight loaded, get back to their home base, and shut down. Some people take advantage of the market. I mean, I'm a free I'm a capitalist. I love the free market. People are going to do what they do, but it's not every single load out there. But I could see it rise back up around that time. And then it might plateau up there for a couple of weeks after. So you might see a bleed over until about mid July before things start to potentially drop back down. But I think this is a great lane out there. You're in a really strong position if this is your lane and you're in a spot market, truck in hand style pricing. If you're contracted on this, you might be breaking even or losing some money right now. But again, you got to service the accounts, and that's got to be your main thing at the end of the day. Service, service, service.